Dito sa Radyo Agila.
Magandang tanghali po sa ating lahat diyan sa Pilipinas. Siyempre pa, sumasa inyo ang programang Radyo Agila sa Amerika. Bakit parang nag-i-echo? Ayun, teka ha, i-fix natin. No? Anyway, ay, siyempre pa, yung pong programang Radyo Agila sa Amerika, sumasa inyo sa pamamagitan po ng ating DCC Radyo Agila. At ako po si Don Rosco mula po rito sa Silicon Valley sa California. Ayan, di ba? Ay masasabi natin na special. Di ba? Bakit? Kasi special yung luto eh. Anyway, ang ating papanauhin ay isa pong entrepreneur, philanthropist, fashion enthusiast, community leader, etc. Di ba? Oo. At hindi na natin patatagalin, ang ating pong guest ay si Miss Rose Tupas, na po, siya po ang CEO ng Tupas Homes LLC at marami pang iba. Hello and good evening sa atin dito sa Philippines. Sa US pala, nalito na ako. At good afternoon dyan sa Pilipinas. Hello, Rose.
Hi. Hello.
Ayan, ako, meron talagang ito, Bob, ano, di ba? Si Bob Rose ay yung ating technician, di ba? So, i-fix natin kung bakit nagkakaroon ng echo. Okay.
Yeah, there's
Anyway,
an echo. Yeah.
Punta na tayo dito sa ating inuwi po ay yung ating intro to Miss Rose Tupas ay hindi po yung exaggeration. Siya ay talagang entrepreneur, siya ay talagang philanthropist, kita niyo naman, talagang fashion enthusiast. At siyempre pa, isang community leader, no po? Isang community leader na masasabi po natin na talaga namang diyan kami laging nagkikita sa mga community events po ng Filipino-American dito sa California. Kaya, Rose, gusto sana nating bigyan ng inspiration, ano? Itong ating mga taga-subaybay, siyempre pa, umpisahan natin sa kwento mo, Rose. Di ba? Ito kasi, pagka nag-uusap tayo, it's good thing that you are able to understand Tagalog, di ba? Uh, uh, more or less, parang pag nag-uusap po kami, mas madali pa minsan yung English eh. But anyway, Rose, can you just share us your story? Paano ka nakarating dito sa Amerika? Because alam naman natin, medyo established ka sa Philippines, di ba? So, bakit ba nagkaroon pa ng desire to travel to the US and eventually stay here? Rose?
Okay. So, subukan ko mag-Tagalog but I
It's okay
sometimes
to
I can
speak in
express
English.
myself more. So, my journey to the US started in 1984. So,
Uh-huh.
my sister called me, tumawag yung sister ko, na sabi niya, she's getting married and she's my only sister. So, we decided to come. I had to come because it is just the two of us, and our parents are gone. But behind that story, I really was preparing myself and my family to move to the US. Now, those times were the troubled times in the Philippines. The Marcos times, that was 1983.
Uh-huh.
Remember, he fell in 1986. So during the time for looking at the future, I knew that there was gonna be trouble brewing in the Philippines. So
Mhm.
sabi ko sa husband ko, I want to go to the US. I want to get our son a better future. At that point, yung husband ko was not decided to come with me
Okay.
because we were already there in the Philippines. He had his own electrical construction company. He was selling elevators and escalators. We had our own house. We had our own office. So it was kind of hard for me to convince him. But I found a way to get him when my sister told me she was getting married. So sabi ko sa kanya, we have to go because I'm the only relative. Our parents are gone. I'm the only sibling alive. A sibling. We're just the other two of us. So sabi ko,
Uh-huh.
I want to go. But if we go, deep in my mind, I told myself, this is it. This is the time I'll take the opportunity to move the family there. Now, he being undecided because he said it was hard to leave the business behind. I said, I'll go ahead. I'll
Uh-huh.
help my sister prepare for the wedding. And then you come with my son, Dio. I said, you follow after 3 months. So that's what happened. I move ahead. But before I left, I literally prepared everything.
Mhm.
I sold our house. I prepared all the papers that we needed to have here. And so I came ahead I came in March of 1984, and then my sister's wedding was in July. So before the end of July, my husband and my son arrived here. And when
Okay.
he came here, I said, "There's no turning back. This is it. We
Mhm.
will stay here."
Mhm.
And I tell you, he was not prepared, but I said, our money, we had only $3,000 in our hands at that time. That was
Oh.
all we had.
Uh-huh.
But we were lucky. I had my sister. My sister's a doctor. We're both doctors, but I didn't practice really. My
Mhm.
sister is the one who practiced her medicine. But we were both starters here. Kasi if maski doktor ka na anywhere, and my sister was anesthesiologist in Germany before she came here.
Mhm.
If you come to California, you're nobody. You have to start all over again,
Back to zero. Yes.
back to zero. So
Mhm.
my sister and I were both starting, but we were lucky. My brother-in-law actually was the one working for the family. But we did have a streak of luck. My husband, who is an engineer, electrical mechanical engineer,
Mhm.
actually um, didn't take long to be able to find a job in
Mm.
here.
Uh-huh.
So he passed the engineering test, and so there was no turning back. I said, "This is
Mhm.
it."
Mhm.
And he got the job. I did not start I wanted to start internship in here and start my career over again. But my son, 5 taon lang siya.
Back then.
So yeah, it was
Uh-huh.
hard to leave them. And if you're in California, there's no way you can start here in California as a doctor. You
Mhm.
either have to go to outside of California to be able to get residency or internship,
Mhm.
because California is so competitive given the fact that UCSF is here, Stanford is here, Loma Linda is here. There's
Mhm.
so many high elite medical schools. So you're in competition with all their graduates. So, but sabi naman ng husband ko, he already found the job. If I were to move to New York and find connections in the hospital in there, I would have to leave my son with him. And
Mhm.
so it was my decision. He said, "It's your career." It was my career versus my family. So I decided I'd stay with my family and was willing
Ayun.
to start again. Yeah.
Ayan. Naku, alam mo, ang dami kasi na alam po ninyo, ang dami sa ating mga kababayan diyan sa Philippines, ano po,
Mhm.
na talagang ang punta dito sa ano, Amerika ay yung healthcare profession, 'di ba? Because
Mhm.
it really pays well, lalo na kung pagiging doktor. But fortunately, ito palang husband mo ay nakapasa agad sa kanyang, board sa pagiging engineer. Tama ba, Rose?
Yeah.
Mhm,
After nag-test siya kaagad ng engineering training, he passed it right away. And
aha,
then he got the professional electrical engineering test, he passed it right away. So in
aha,
the beginning, he was really the one who started our life here, in
aha,
fairness to him. And
hmm,
I, as a doctor graduate, I couldn't find it. My first job in here, let me tell you how we started. When we were here, my sister and I didn't really, my sister did not, although she was already a doctor in Germany, she had to start all over again. So she
aha,
had to apply for residency. Now, it took some time before she could go to residency. She went into research. But while both of us were looking for something to do, I worked as a caregiver for an elderly woman. That was my
wow,
very first job.
aha.
And I was paid $20 a day.
A
Per
day,
day. Per day. This
uh-huh.
was in 1983. But that experience really was sort of like an inspiration for me to go to the career which I followed later.
Exactly,
So
ano?
I told myself I could build a career on taking care of these elderly people or whoever needs care. And that's exactly the path that I followed in my
Mhm,
journey here.
mhm.
Mhm.
Ayun. So, uh, never, in other words, you never really work, no? Parang hindi ka naging 9 to 5 employee.
No, in the first, nung natapos na yon, I mean, when my son already, because pagdating namin, we were also lucky. My son was admitted right to first grade. So I had to find something to do. I work as a medical examiner for insurance companies.
Mhm.
So I was drawing blood, doing physical exams. That was my work. That was my 9 to 5 work. So I was a
Okay.
full-time mom and a full-time medical examiner, and my husband was working too. But it was in '84 where we came here. In 1986, when I was working already as a medical examiner, I told my husband, we need to buy a house that will pay for itself because we
Uh-huh.
still cannot afford to be living in that house.
Mhm.
So our very first investment, I like 2 years after we arrived, I bought a home for the elderly and
Okay.
ran that. That was a single home for
Mhm.
6 elderly um, ladies, and that was the beginning of my career. But that after I ran that from 1986 up to 1990. But in 1990, I thought of opening a paramedical company. Then an opportunity came. I
Okay.
got a call from one of there was a provider here who was looking for me and was offering me to take over her facilities. These are the kind of facilities that I run now. Not an elderly kind of facility, but it's a facility for developmentally disabled clients.
Ayun.
Yeah, so they are very highly medical clients,
Mhm.
clients with tracheostomies, G tubes, clients who have seizures, all this kind of medical problems that they have. So I actually got a call, and she wanted me to buy two of her facilities at that point, which she actually got from somebody. Just two, she wanted me to buy.
Two agad,
Yeah,
Okay.
two, but
Uh-huh.
then I didn't buy it.
Oh, really? Okay.
I didn't know. The story is, and I'll cut it short so not too long. When she called me, I went to look at the facilities and I told myself, I didn't like the atmosphere. I didn't like the way it looked like. So I told her, I don't want to buy. And this was November of 1990. I
Okay.
knew the problems. I know the facility had problems. I could feel it, but
Mhm.
she didn't tell me. And then by February of 1991, tumawag na ulit sa akin. Sabi niya, um, I gusto kong i-consider mo na to buy the facilities
Again, okay.
again. But when
Mhm.
I went there, then she told me that the facilities were about to be closed down by the Department of Health Licensing and Certification.
Okay.
So I said, "Wow." I mean, I was young then. I didn't know. I had no experience at all in that world. My only thing that I had was my medical knowledge. So I said, "What do I do to be able to take over?" Because she was losing her license and she would be closed down if I do not take over. So she said, "I want you to call Department of Health and tell them that you want to take over." So
Uh-huh.
when I called Department of Health, they interviewed me for 3 hours. 3 hours. And
Grilling,
then,
huh?
yeah. And then they finally told me, okay, you can go ahead and take over. Now, at that point, I didn't know that that kind of facility is associated, it has to work with the regional center, which is a nonprofit organization under a contract with the Department of Developmental Services.
Okay.
And it's this regional centers that place these clients in the I mean in the developmentally disabled facilities.
Uh-huh.
My facility calls are called intermediate care facility, developmentally disabled nursing.
Okay.
So when, yeah,
Which
it's an
means
ICF
hindi siya yung
TDN.
ordinaryo na
No, it's not
nakikita
an
natin
ordinary facility.
na
Yes.
regular na care home, di ba?
Yeah, meron nursing. Nursing,
Okay.
hindi lang nagpapakain, kailangan maggamot ka, kailangan bigyan. There's so much involved. There's a
Okay.
nursing care in
Mhm.
effect.
So,
So,
pumasok din, nag-kick in din yung iyong career bilang doktor, di ba?
yeah, that is actually my secret to success. I can tell
Uh-huh.
you.
Mhm.
But then when after nung meeting namin sa licensing, after my interview, sabi nila, "Did you contact the regional center?" So I asked them, "What is the regional center?" Because I didn't know what it was.
Uh-huh.
So when I asked them, so they explained it to me. So I called the regional center and the owner of the facilities. I said, "Let's have a meeting." And
Mhm.
when I went, I was caught aback. There were all Caucasians. I sat down in a board of Caucasians. And,
Really?
yeah, I was the only Filipino.
And just to remind our ano no, our followers, alam po ninyo, napakahirap pakisiksik sa mga Caucasians, mga puti at that time. Although mahirap pa rin ngayon, but it was doubly hard back then, right? Dahil sa, alam mo
Yeah.
naman, yung medyo ini-small tayo nitong mga ito, di ba? So how was
Yeah.
it?
So, nung nag-meeting kami, right there and then, yung head ng resource department ng regional center, sinabi kaagad sa akin at saka nung may-ari ng facilities na, "No, we cannot support Rose Tupas." And sabi ng why? Because she's new and we've spent so much in these facilities and she
Mhm.
doesn't have experience. She may be a doctor, but she doesn't have experience in this kind of care. So I couldn't fight because I didn't have any guns to fight with. It's
Mhm.
true. I was young. I had no experience. I had experience with the elderly, but not in this kind of facilities. So I left. We left very disappointed. And licensing, I called licensing and I told them that they did not approve of me. So sabi ng licensing, I will call a meeting with the regional center.
Mhm.
So they called the meeting. Even in licensing, when we sat down, they told the licensing director, na they will not accept me because I do not have experience. And one of the reasons, probably Dan, was during those times they were giving grant monies to open these
Okay.
facilities. So
Ah.
they didn't want to spend money on me because I was young and I was new.
Mhm.
So yung may-ari ng facilities, she was crying and she says, "You need to find a way to help me." And we had only a week before the licensing expired,
Uh-huh.
and she would lose everything.
Mhm.
So when
But
I
by
went,
the way, Rose, yung original owner, was she Caucasian as well?
no,
O
she was a
Filipino?
Filipina.
Filipina rin. Okay.
Filipina, yeah. She is very seasoned. She has since passed away. We became very close friends. But
Mhm.
then she did not have experience in nursing in the medical field. ang mga facilities na noon, yung mga regular na facilities. So hindi niya na kaya yung may medical
Okay.
facility. Yeah.
Mhm.
So when we left licensing, sabi niya sa akin, Rose, I want you to think of what you can do for me.
Mhm.
So sabi ko, I will think about it. So that night, I really thought about something. Then the following morning, I called her. Sabi ko sa kanya, okay, hire me as your administrator. Then the regional center cannot go against that because I would be your private employee.
Mhm.
So she said, yeah, that's true. They cannot go against that. But so when I called licensing, they said, go ahead. So I went in as administrator. But,
Uh-huh.
but you
Yun yung
know,
galing, ha?
that's how it all started. But the irony
Mm.
of the deal was she couldn't sell the facilities to me.
Mhm.
Kasi sabi ng licensing, there's no license to sell
Okay.
because if I did not take over, they would close her down. But that
Mhm.
was the beginning of a very good relationship. So I started Tupas Home number one. Then 6 months after, I started Tupas Home number two. And I
Mhm.
just started going on.
Ayun. Alam nyo, mga kababayan, ang sinasabi niyang going on, going on, going on, and on. At sabi nga niya, she was trying to help itong may-ari. But the truth of the matter, ang nakakatuwa, and that's the reason why we have her as guest, napakarami po niyang natulungang mga kababayan natin. Actually, hindi lang mga kababayan natin, kahit ibang lahi, magkaroon ng, sabi nga natin yung paper, yung visa, yung paper na ikaw makapag-stay, makapag-work dito po sa Amerika. Yan ang ilang bagay na mga pag-uusapan natin, yung kanyang sinasabi nga nating mga philanthropic na mga activities, yung kanyang pagiging entrepreneur, napakarami dahil sa, kung nakita nyo sa ating Facebook page at sa YouTube channel, puro pagkain ang ipinakikita. Kasi po, itong pamilya nila has two popular restaurants here in California. And when we come back, pag-uusapan po nating lahat yan. Sandali po lamang at magpapakilala po ang ating himpilan.
EBC, Eagle Broadcasting Corporation. Ito ang Radyo Agila.
Di ko makita pangalan ko sa listahan, but I have the right to vote.
Mare, you also have the right to have good eyesight. Eto name mo, oh.
For state-of-the-art facilities and affordable eyewear, go to EO Executive Optical. Love your eyes.
For expert eye care, come to EO Executive Optical with over 200 stores nationwide. EO Executive Optical. Love your eyes.
Programang Radyo Agila sa Amerika. Ako pa rin po ang inyong kapiling, si Don Orozco. Narito pa rin tayo sa Silicon Valley sa California. At sabi nga, kung meron mga successful dito sa Silicon Valley, akala nyo ba ay puro mga tech ang nagsasucceed dito sa Silicon Valley? Ito pong kausap natin, si Miss Rose Tupas, siya po ang CEO ng Tupas Homes LLC. At meron pa rin po siyang pinatatakbong mga restaurants. Actually, tinutulungan niya yung kanyang anak doon sa kanyang restaurant. But all of this, we will be discussing. Doon muna tayo, doon sa nag-break tayo, di ba, Rose?
Uh-huh.
Go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Para sa kapatiran ng ilan nating mga kababayan,
Mhm.
nag-umpisa ka sa isang care home that you own, right?
Uh-huh.
eventually, and right now, ilan ang iyong facility?
Right now, 13 facilities at saka 2 daycares.
Ayan.
Yeah.
Narinig niyo po ba yan? 13, no? Yan ang, kaya mahal na mahal itong si Rose ng Amerika, ng IRS. Kasi malaki yung binabayaran yung tax. Di ba, Rose?
Totoo yun, totoo.
Yan talaga. Yan talaga ang isang napakabigat. Yung mga pagsubok, how did you go through that, Rose? Kasi napakahirap mag-set up ng negosyo dito eh. Ang daming klase ng batas, di ba? Katulad
Yeah.
ng kinukwento mo, di ba? At
Mhm.
pagkatapos ay normally ang nagpapatakbo Caucasian, mga puti. Eh ikaw di ba?
Yeah,
Parang
alam mo, when I started, nung nagsimula ako, I used to go to meetings ng mga ICF, DDN, DDS providers. Nag-iisa ako na Filipina noon. This was in 1991, 92,
aha,
93.
aha,
Yeah. Lagi ako. Meron ako isang nakaibigan na naging consultant ko. She had 5 facilities, puti. Her name was Mrs. McNeely. She was sort of like my mentor, but
okay.
then she always says, when I'm with her, that I am the student who did better than the teacher. But we became very close friends and she was
Mhm.
like, I used to go with her. But yeah, lagi akong nag-iisa noon. Ngayon, iba na. Marami ng Filipina ngayon. There are several nurses who are already running this kind of facilities. There are quite a few now, although none of them are there may be some in other places. In LA, there are more bigger facilities there, bigger
Aha,
groups in there kaysa dito. But in the
mhm.
Bay Area, as a single entrepreneur, I'm one of the biggest ICF providers here.
Nabanggit ko kanina, Rose, hindi lang, of course, hindi lang yung sa business, di ba?
Yeah.
Pero nagkaroon din ng point na, sabi nga natin, nagkaroon din ng point na ikaw ay nakatutulong, hindi lang sa ating mga kababayan, kung hindi siyempre, sa mga non-Filipinos as well. All in
Yeah.
all,
Mhm.
mga ilan na ba ang natutulungan mong makarating at papaano mo sila natutulungan?
Okay. Sari-sari ang pagtulong ko. Okay. Meron akong natulungan na kinuha ko from the Philippines. Inisponsoran ko siya for the green card to come here. I
Mhm.
have done that with somebody else or with a few people. Marami rin akong natulungan na nandito na.
Okay.
Now, way back in when I was already stable, because in this business, you have to have 3 facilities at least to be able to make good. Now, if you have 4, then you're making good. If you're 5, then you're making better. So
Okay.
then I had the chance to be able to help other people. Kasi marami akong kailangan na tao.
Mhm.
Hindi sa isang facility namin, hindi lang isa, dalawa, tatlo. Meron kaming director staff, meron kaming LVN, meron kaming RN, meron
Aha.
kaming program director, meron kaming so there's a structure, in other words.
Mhm.
So meron akong mga na-sponsoran na before actually 2001, nung si President Bush, si Bushy, the younger
Okay.
Bush,
Aha.
he actually declared an amnesty.
Okay.
So, yeah, when he had that amnesty, I sponsored 20 people for the amnesty, for the green card.
Really?
Yes, 20 people.
Aha.
Now, I was able to help them. Some of them, alam mo na, yung iba maraming problema, kung may problema sa pamilya, yung iba umuwi sa Philippines, bumalik, yung iba nag-asawa, because the process takes time. But
Mhm.
then, a lot of them stayed with me.
Okay.
Hanggang ngayon, doon sa inosponsoran ko na 20, may 3 pa na natitira sa akin after 23 years.
Aha.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
continuous yan, di ba?
Yeah.
Up to now ay
Hindi, once na continuous pag ano mo until na makuha yung green card.
okay. Pero
Yung
ang
iba
ibig kong
naman, yeah.
sabihin, ang ibig sabihin, it did not stop dun sa 20 yun. You
Yung
still have
iba,
to, aha,
kung umalis na sila, then I had to stop the sponsorship. But
oo.
still, I was able to sponsor more than 10 of them. Then,
Wow.
bukod doon sa 10 na sa Amnesty, meron akong mga ni-sponsoran na outside of the Amnesty. Kung
Okay.
nandito na sila, natulungan ko sila na
Mhm.
na makakuha ng green card.
Yung magkaroon ng
And
permanent residency.
yeah, I
Okay.
sponsored three from the Philippines. I sponsored one from India to
From
be able to
India.
come, yeah, as
Okay.
a social worker
So,
in my
siya
daycare.
ba talagang parang professional social worker from India na nagpunta
Yeah,
rin?
she had a master's degree. She had,
Okay.
so yung mga ini-sponsor ko from the Philippines, they had to have a degree. Kasi
Mhm.
ini-sponsoran ko sila as we have a post that's it's a qualified intellectual disabilities professional,
Okay.
QIDP. Yung post na yan requires a professional degree in
Mhm.
human services. So you can either be a nurse, you can be a
Okay.
teacher, you can be in the human services. So I
Okay.
sponsored one who was a teacher. I sponsored one who was could be a psychology.
Mhm.
I sponsored several people. I sponsored also one whom we had success as IT siya. Pero
Okay.
ginawa kong IT in charge of the IT in our facilities.
Mhm. Mhm.
And we were able to get him the green card.
Okay. And when was the last time you were able to get people from, kumbaga, sa Philippines?
Not in the Philippines. Recently, matagal-tagal na kasi mostly dito na. Yung mga nagpupunta sa akin sa opisina ko na nagpapatulong, dito ko na sila tinutulungan. Then yung
Okay.
mga,
Yung mga
yeah.
naka-establish
Pero,
na, kumbaga,
yeah.
nandito kayo.
Uh-huh.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. So, if they come to me and they need my help, I'm willing to help anybody
Mhm.
as long as they are qualified, as long as we are within the realms of the law. Kumbaga nga,
Oo.
legal lahat. Hindi
Okay.
pwede yung basta-basta
Pero,
lang. Mhm.
papaano ka kanila pinupuntahan na ikaw ay nire-refer ka ba sila? Kasi alam mo naman, alam po ninyo dito sa Amerika, meron pong mga lugar na kung tawagin gated. Hindi ka basta nakakapasok, di ba? And
Mhm.
again, dito kasi ay may mga tirahan po dito yung kanilang mga addresses. Eh parang yung Forbes Park sa atin, di ba? Nandito kasi mga NBA players, kapitbahay mo, mga football players, o para maiwasan, dun sila sa gated, di ba? At parang ganon. Eh, nagkataon na ito pong si Rose ay nakatira dun sa mga ganong klaseng bahay, ano po, gated. Ngayon, ah, how do they see you? May mga offices ka ba from outside? Outside the...
Yeah, we have our office. Yung
Mhm.
office namin, nandun mismo sa, we have a corporate office.
Okay.
Yung building ng daycare ko is our corporate office. So they can, oh, sorry, Dan.
No problem.
Okay, so we have an office, and it's located in one of my daycares, and that's at Union Avenue in San Jose.
Okay.
Um,
Pero
so
ito bang lahat ng facility, all in all, lahat nasa San Jose?
yes, lahat. Isa lang ang nasa Saratoga, pero it's on the border of San Jose and Saratoga. So
Okay.
they're all in San Jose, and then yung dalawang daycare ko are very close to the facilities.
Dapat
They're
pala mahal na mahal ka ni Mayor Matt Mayhan dahil ang laki ng binabayaran mong tax sa city, di ba? Oh,
totoo
alam
yan.
po ninyo, ganyan ang ano rito eh. Well, of course, kahit saan naman talaga, kinikilala ng mga pamahalaan, yun pong mga, sabi nga natin, magagandang mga taxpayer. Eh dito sa Amerika, hindi tayo nakakalusot eh. Di ba? Oh,
Hindi.
mag-transition tayo, Rose.
Yeah.
You do own two restaurants. One in Union City, yung nasa Tribu, and I believe this is now being run by your son. And then there's this Bistro Tupas na nandito sa may South San Jose. Oh, paano
Yeah.
naman nagkaroon ng idea na ikaw na kayo ang family ay pumasok sa restaurant business?
Okay, first of all, I want to clarify that my son owns the restaurants. So
Okay.
I am just in the background helping him, but
Uh-huh.
he is the chef. My son actually, he is the one who owns the restaurant. He started the restaurants
Okay.
um, because he is a school chef.
Mm.
He does have a degree in psychology. He went to Moraga College, St. Mary's College in Moraga, and got his
Wow.
psychology because he wanted, in the beginning, he was thinking of becoming a doctor, but then after he finished psychology, he said he wanted to take time to think about it, and then he started saying that he didn't, his heart was not in medicine because he did not like the insurance companies making decisions for him.
Uh-huh.
But I know his heart was probably into something else. So after graduation, he traveled, and then he told me when he came back that he wanted to start his own business. I
Okay.
tried to convince him to get into mine, but he was not interested at that point.
Okay.
So um, he said he wanted to offer to open a place where he could offer gourmet food at a more reasonable price,
Mm-hmm.
with sustainable food and a healthy atmosphere. So healthy feeding, healthy food, and a healthy atmosphere. So I said, you know what, you have to be a cook to be successful because
Uh-huh.
I'm successful because I'm a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that challenged him, and he went to culinary school for 2.5 years. Then after that, he bought Bistro Tupa. He bought a small restaurant which he turned into Bistro Tupas.
So,
So
mas matagal na itong Bistro Tupaz kaysa dun sa Tribu Grill?
nauna yung Bistro Tupas. That was his
Oh, really?
baby. Yeah.
Okay.
He
Uh-huh.
started that in 2009.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Alam po
And
ninyo itong Bistro Grill, Bistro Tupaz, European. Kaya ika nga ay kaya ang mas nauna kong nakilala yung Tribu Grill dahil Filipino restaurant. Alam niyo naman, ang hinahanap ng mga Pinoy dito, yung authentic na Filipino restaurant. At nakatutuwa dahil sa tama ka Rose, di ba? Mura nga po ang ang pricing doon sa kaya doon sa mga hindi pa nakakapag-try, yan, puntahan po ninyo yang Tribu Grill, nandyan po sa Union City. And of course, yung Bistro Tupaz, I actually haven't been there, but kamusta naman? How is the pricing there?
it is very it's very good.
Uh-huh.
It's very good.
Alam mo,
It
Rose,
yeah.
I actually read, nakatutuwa dun sa Yelp,
Yeah.
yung review nung, di ba, na
Yeah.
sabi niya nga, ang ganda ng pagkakasabi niya dun sa kanyang review dun sa inyong restaurant, di ba, na lumalabas, matagal na siyang suki, di ba, na akala niya,
Yeah. Yeah,
baka
that's true.
nagbago,
Yeah.
pero sabi niya, is still the best. At hindi po Pilipino yung nagre-review. Kaya nakakatuwa, kaya nakaka-proud 'di ba? So
Yeah.
itong anak mo, si Dio, does he go like back and forth kasi magkalayo rin yung Union City at saka yung San Jose?
Yeah. Alam mo, he manages both, although meron siyang mga tao. And
Aha.
then alam mo, marami rin siyang natutulungan na tao
Mhm.
na ini-employ,
Mhm.
kung kailangan ng
Kamusta kayo nung pandemic? Kamusta yung restaurant?
Oh, the restaurants, sila ang nambuhay sa mga homes ko nung pandemic. Kasi 'di ba
Okay.
nung pandemic ang hirap bumili ng pagkain, hindi ka maka-shopping sa Safeway, hindi ka
Aha.
maka-shopping sa grocery. So, sabi niya, "Ma'am, I'll take care of everything." Siya ang nag-prepare lahat-lahat ng kailangan namin, the food of the clients, the food of the staff. So,
Mhm.
I did not have any problem. So, that kept them busy during the pandemic, yeah.
Ayun, 'di ba?
Mm,
Kasi nga,
yeah.
parang, hindi lang naman sa Pilipinas, mga kababayan, yung hindi nakakalabas. Actually dito very restricted din ang paglabas. Kaya naging walang sit down. Ang nangyari ay parang mga
Take home,
delivery,
take
take
out.
home. Oo,
Yeah.
oo.
take out, pero they were open. Open sila para sa take out,
Aha,
pero sila ang nag-cater. And up to now is catering. Kine-cater na yung pagkain ng mga clients ko sa homes,
okay.
lunch and dinner. And then, binibigyan namin yung mga staff namin ng free meals, lunch and dinner.
Ayun, naku,
Mm.
dapat pala diyan na ako magtrabaho para libre sa'kin.
Oo, triple food.
Oo, well, sabagay, 'di ba? Oh, minsan lang po, minsan, tinext ko, nag-picture ako, I was eating at Tribu. Not having the intention of getting free food, ano? Because I was with several friends. Nag-picture ako, I texted Rose, sabi ko, "Oh, I'm here at your restaurant." Ba pagkatapos, nung, I was already asking for the bill, sabi nung sabi nung manager, "Sir, it's been taken care of by Miss Rose." Kaya nagulat ako. Kaya hindi ko na nga pala kailangan na magtrabaho diyan to eat free. Dahil I eat free. I had the opportunity to eat free there, and it was really good. Ah, so ito palang pagkaroon ng restaurant, brainchild ng iyong anak and you as being a supportive mother. Tama ba, Rose?
Yeah, exactly. I am just in the background,
Uh-huh.
pero um, tumutulong ako. Pero marami kong friends, who go to Tribu, who go to
Uh-huh.
Bistro.
Mhm.
So it makes me happy too.
Uh-huh. Kaya
Yeah.
nga, oo. Kasi,
Mhm.
iba yung offering, and mind you, mga kababayan, ano po, yung tribu, pagka nakita po ninyo, and we're showing the pictures, ano, napakalawak po. Isa sa if I am not mistaken, I believe it's probably one of the biggest na parang sit-down resto doon sa lugar na yun, sa complex na yun. Tama ba, Rose?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true. Kami lang
Mhm.
ang 3 doors doon. Yung
Oo.
iba, mga 2 doors, yeah.
Malaki
One
na yung
door,
2 doors. Ito, three yung
three
kanya.
doors, yeah.
Ayan, 'di ba? Kaya
Mhm.
nakakatuwa at talaga naman pong mag-e-enjoy kayo pagka kayo, nagpunta at kumain doon sa napakasarap pati. Kaya yan, parang Yelp review na yan, ano? Ngayon,
Yeah, Dan.
napag-usapan natin,
Mhm.
bago tayo pumunta sa bahay mo, Rose, bago tayo pumunta sa bahay mo, ang pag-usapan muna natin yung 13 na care home. Yun ba ay mga fully paid na o hanggang ngayon, may mga obligations ka pa rin do'n?
There are still obligations, but yeah, we do own all the homes. We do have, meron din kaming housing na para sa staff namin. Alam mo dito sa San Jose, ang hirap mabuhay dito kasi
Tama,
mahal. So meron akong housing na para sa staff ko lang, but it's not much. We have one house, but we have 6 bedrooms in there. So they pay a minimal amount to stay there sa mga homes ko. But hopefully, I have a new project where we will build a new building. Then we can accommodate more people if we put additional living quarters there. Mhm.
kita mo? So, lahat ng mga tao mo do'n ay which is the normal thing, ay mga stay-in?
Yeah, mga tao ko sa
Oo,
I'm sorry.
doon sa care home?
They all, it's, we don't have live-in staff. They all live out. Kasi I don't have rooms for there sa mga facilities. So
Uh-huh,
lahat sila nakatira sa labas.
mhm.
So tinutulungan ko lang sila para bigyan yung iba, hindi mo naman mabigyan. We have 158 employees. So it's hard to give housing for everybody. So there's a few select that had the privilege of staying in the houses. Yeah.
Ayun, mga the trusted few kumbaga, 'di
Yeah.
ba? Oo. Alam mo,
But I think,
tinitingnan ko Rose, yung iyong, background. Parang, meron kang parang set of collections behind you, 'di ba? Ano bang klaseng, collection 'yan? Maganda ang
uh,
pagkakaporma, eh.
okay. One of them, what we see right now is one is a Hummel collection. Hummel is is a German, by Sister Hummel. It was a nun who started that collection, but it's a
Okay.
German collection of German porcelain, in other words. Yung
Okay.
kabila naman is Chinese porcelain. Kailangan meron din tayong German, meron din tayong Asian, di ba?
Okay.
I collect I am an avid collector of Yadro porcelains.
Okay. Which has become your hobby, ha? Mga
Yeah, over
porcelains.
the years.
Oo.
Mm-hmm.
Naku, di ang hirap pala pumunta sa bahay niyo dahil pagka nasanggi mo yung mga yan, eh.
Hindi naman, ikaw naman.
Pagkamamahal pala naman yan, di ba? Pero,
Insured, so it's
ah,
okay.
pero, ah, meron kasing ibang mga tao sa collections nila, meron silang mga dedicated room for collections. Do you also have a dedicated room for your collections?
Yeah, I do have one room where it's filled with Yadro. Yadro is a Spanish porcelain.
Okay.
Uh, that's the room that we have, but it's a
Oo.
separate room.
Okay. Hindi siya nakikita.
Hindi natin
Talagang ano,
kita
oo,
ngayon.
oo. So, ang kulang na lang, meron ka ng North America, meron kang Asia, meron kang Europe. Wala bang room dyan na galing ng Antarctica?
Meron akong dalawa.
Ah,
Galing sa Greenland.
Ito pa isang nakakatuwa, no. Alam nyo mga kababayan, yung pong kanyang bahay at hindi naman sa kanya lang. Actually, meron siyang mga kapitbahay. Yung lugar po nila, merong taniman, 'di ba? May plantation kung tawagin. Pero hindi basta plantation, 'di ba? Bakit? Kasi ubas ang nakatanim, 'di ba? Ubas na parang meron pa yatang if I kasi yan ang normal na nangyayari, Rosa. Someone comes in to harvest and create something out of
Yeah.
ubas. Do you do that?
I have a mini vineyard.
Okay.
Ika nga, mini lang kasi it's at the back of my house. But it's for red Zinfandel wine. Somebody maintains yung facility. Merong akong vintner who comes, his people come and clean up, can come and take care of the grapes. They harvest the grapes. Pag na-harvest nila, they put them in their winery and they put them in oak barrels. And then for 2 years, and then they bottle it and bring it back to me. So we get about 12 cases of 15 cases of 12 every year from the wine that I have. Mhm.
Ibig mong sabihin, 15 cases ang napoproduce nung
Yeah.
iyong
Uh-huh.
vineyard.
Yeah,
But
from my mini
ang
vineyard.
ano ay 2 years?
2 years, yeah,
So,
kasi they
ibig
have to keep
sabihin,
it.
pag kinuha ko ngayon yan, I will have to wait for 2 years before I will be able to make tukim dun sa
Hindi
mga
na. Every year meron na ngayon.
oo
Kasi
nga,
nung simula, naghintay ako ng 2 years. Then they keep on harvesting. So every year we have now a new harvest. So every year we do.
Ayun, di
Mhm,
ba?
yeah.
So nakakatuwa and then 15 cases kasi sinasabi
Yeah.
mo ang ano
Uh-huh.
mo, di ba? Oo. So hindi ginagawa yung process diyan. It is
Hindi.
being sent somewhere else.
It's in a professional winery.
Okay.
Mhm.
Do you sell them o
No,
parang ano mo lang?
I give it as gifts to
Okay.
friends like
Uh-huh.
you, to
So,
special friends.
wow, thank you. Oo. So, yun di ba? Do you still go and parang go around and visit your own vineyard every now and then?
Yeah, I
Nakapag-visit ka
do.
ba? Oo.
I do. I do see all my clients. I go to my office. It was only during the pandemic that I didn't go around because it was not feasible to do that. But I do see them in our daycare. I may not be there every day because
Aha,
sometimes, alam mo na ngayon, sanay na tayo na nagmi-meeting sa Zoom, eka nga.
aha, aha.
So, kuminsan marami akong meeting sa bahay, then I still go to the office para makita ko sila.
Ayan, di ba? Kasi
Mhm.
iba, di ba? Pagka minsan, alam po ninyo mga kababayan, pumupunta pa nga kami nung Napa Valley kasi relaxing
Yeah.
ang itsura nung vineyard di ba?
Yeah.
Kaya nakakatuwa. Itong si Rose, pupunta lang sa may likod ng bahay nila. Para nang nasa Napa Valley, di ba? Oh. Ah,
One of these days,
mhm.
I'll invite you to my place so that you
Oh,
can see.
wow. I will be honored, ano? At I am sure I will be enjoying going around your place. Kaya lang, sabi nga, doble ingat dahil sa puro porcelain yung nandiyan. Di ba?
Hindi.
Yung asawa, Rose, ay hanggang ngayon is he still working or has he retired?
No, we work together for the business, and
Okay.
that is our really success to our active life. We
Uh-huh.
run the business together. Kasi ako sa medical at saka sa operations. Ang
Mhm.
kanya, he runs the transportation. Meron kaming transportation para sa mga clients. So we have a lot of vans going around checking the clients, bringing them to the day program, bringing them to the homes. Tapos siyang in charge sa mga facilities kasi we have to maintain the facilities very well because lahat ng clients namin naka-wheelchair. So he's in charge of those. And then he actually runs our HR payroll department. So he's in charge of that. So
Uh-huh.
we have separate roles. But
Uh-huh.
honestly, both of us work because I cannot do all the work now alone. Mhm.
Uh-huh. So, yan yung sinasabing teamwork di ba?
Yeah. Mhm.
Mhm.
Marami kang
Kaya
tao pero iba yung kayong dalawa na namamahala ay
uh-huh.
nagtutulungan, you
Uh,
know. Mhm.
Siya ba ay nakikialam din? No, patawarin mo ako sa term. Ang ibig ko sabihin, siya ba ay
Mhm.
ah, dumadalaw din or nag-a-assist din dun sa dalawang restaurant ni Deo?
Oh yeah, oo. Naku, mag-buddy sila ng daddy niya. And then he
Oh,
keeps,
really?
well, yeah, kung may mga kailangan i-improve on the physical plant, both of them discuss it. Tapos ang husband ko ang nagsusupervise. Meron
Uh-huh.
kaming maintenance team, obviously, kasi marami kaming minamaintain na facilities. So, kasama na yon yung mga restaurants, kasama na rin sa kanyang supervision.
Ayun, di ba?
Yeah.
Sinesweldohan mo naman ba yung asawa mo?
Hindi, pareho kami walang sweldo.
Kaya minsan alam mo yan ang mahirap i-measure, yung sarili mong negosyo, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Minsan kasi hindi mo baka ma-overpay ko or whatsoever, 'di ba? But anyway, nakakatuwa itong ating naging huntahan, Rose, ano? And
Mhm.
I get to know you more. At salamat sa iyong mga philanthropic activities, ano, na nakakatulong sa napakarami. Meron ka bang naka-line up na activity para yung alam mo naman, yung ating tinatawag na pagtanaw ng utang na loob lalo na sa ating bansang Pilipinas. Meron ka bang ginagawang gano'n?
Yeah, tumutulong ako sa mga simbahan sa atin. I
Okay,
donate a lot of money
Do
to
you
the
still travel back to the Philippines still?
ha?
Nagta-travel ka pa ng Pilipinas?
Not
Nagpupunta
to,
ka ba?
hindi palagi.
Mhm.
Kasi I'm too busy. But lately, I went there the last time 2019 I think 2018 bago
Uh-huh.
nag-pandemic. But personally, I help a lot of people, but eka nga, I don't have any problem giving help to the community when they
Mhm.
need. That's something that I will not say no to. So,
Ayun,
mm,
Well, anyway, Rose, ako'y nagpapasalamat sa opportunity. Na alam po ninyo na I am honored to have her because she rarely allow to be interviewed, ano. Sabi niya, sige na nga. At nagpapasalamat ako sa iyo, Rose, sa pagkakataon. Anyway, bago tayo magpaalam, is there anything that you want to say, that you want to announce, at pagka meron bang nais na ay saan ka maaring i-check out o puntahan?
yeah, I want to encourage yung mga kababayan natin that even though it's hard to come here, there are people, marami pa ring tao na nagtatagumpay sa
Aha.
sa kanilang buhay dito. Huwag dapat sila matakot na if their dream is to come here and start a new life, then there's always a way to start a new life. If I can be a part of the dream where I can help people start their life here, I'd be willing to do that. So they can come to me. My office is located in San Jose. It's at, I don't know if it's legal to flash the address. Normally, it's not proper to do that.
Aha, aha,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
but they can find Tupas Homes LLC.
Aha.
Ngayon, kung kailangan nila ng tulong, I am there para sa mga kababayan natin. Kung kailangan nila ng tulong, magsimula dito sa Amerika. Okay?
Ayun. Nako, maraming salamat sa lahat
Mhm.
ng ginagawa mo, Rose, sa
Mhm.
community, sa mga
Mhm.
ginagawa mo sa ating mga kababayan, and of course, sa mga ginagawa mong pagkalinga, doon sa mga taong lumalapit para tumulong sa'yo. Thank you for always having an open heart and an open door policy. Salamat ng napakarami.
Well,
Yan po.
thank you for the opportunity to speak with you, Don. I really appreciate it.
I am very much honored. Yan po, no? Si Miss Rose Tupas, siya po ang CEO, di ba? Napaka-humble. CEO ng Tupas Homes LLC at nanay nung may-ari ng Tribu Grill at ng Bistro Tupas. Try it. Subukan niyo pong kumain doon and I am sure you will enjoy it. Di ba? Okay. So, naka-boundary na naman po ang ating programang Radyo Agila sa Amerika. At again, pasalamat tayo kay Bob sa kanyang assistance. Ano? At ito ay matutunghayan po ninyo sa Facebook Live at saka sa YouTube Live. Itong ating programang Radyo Agila sa Amerika. Ako po, si Don Orozco mula po rito sa Silicon Valley sa California. Magandang gabi po dito sa California, magandang hapon sa Pilipinas. Thank you po.